Hi everybody, and welcome to my tiny kitchen. Today I'm going to do a family favorite. This is a recipe that my mom used to make for us when we were growing up. My brother Tim, this is for him today. It's going to be a very, very good way to stretch a pound of ground beef. This is what my mom did when she was trying to feed a family of 5. So we're going to do it today, and this recipe is called Mom's Spanish Rice. It is a very tasty dish, and I hope that you can use this for your kitchen and your cooking too. So let's get cooking, everybody, and thank you for coming along for the ride. So right now in my pot I've got 1 pound and 3 ounces of ground beef going. I ground it myself. If you want to see that, you can go out and catch one of Kat's tiny video bites to see what's going on. And in my bar pot right here, I've got 2 cups of water boiling because I need to cook my rice. A lot of people will use minute rice, but I'm not a minute rice kind of gal. I would rather use regular rice where you gotta cook it. And excuse me, I've been sneezing. And my water is boiling right now for the rice, so I'm going to dump my cup of rice in. Need to get a fork out. Or a spoon, if you don't have a fork. So I'm going to stir this up a little bit. Then I'm going to bring it back to a boil. And then I'm going to turn it down on a low simmer and let it cook for 20 minutes. I would much rather use fresh rice. It just tastes so much better to me. So we got that going. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep stirring up the ground beef. And get that browned. Once it's brown, I'm going to go ahead and drain the fat off of it. This is about an 80-20 grind. Turned out to be about an 80-20 grind. So I'll drain the fat off of that. This recipe was my mom's, one of my mom's. We ate it a lot. It was just one way to stretch a meal. And it was so good. My brother Tim, a few months ago, asked me for the recipe, and I gave him a recipe. But it wasn't my mom's, and my mom really didn't have anything written down, so I really had to search in my little brain archive to remember how to do it. And I've turned the rice down to a low simmer, and while we're here watching water boil and burger fry, we're going to go ahead and set a timer. I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes for the rice. And that should be enough time for the rice to cook. And then I'll remove it from the heat and it'll set aside until we get ready for the next round of stuff that we're going to do. This is a chuck roast that I'm using. I do have to keep the lid coming up every once in a while with this burner. Still not used to it, folks. That should be good. I've got my burner set on a 2. It depends on your burner as to what you're going to set it on. And what I was talking about, my brother Jimmy's in heaven, and I know he's looking down on us tonight, and I hope he's giving me a big hug. And my brother Tim and I love this stuff. My brother Tim, some of you may know him, some of you who are on my page may know him. He's got his own YouTube page. It's called Tim Irwin Cigar City Garage. He has grown up in the drag race industry, and he has been a big builder of cars. He's just built and builds and sells, and he's just such a very, very talented man. And he just retired here recently, so now I'm hoping that we'll see more videos from him on his page as to what he's doing and who he's working for, and what he's doing for himself as a race car builder. I'm hoping that after the first of the year sometime we can get together and do a collaboration, and I can share what he does on his page and he can share what I do on my page. Kind of fun thing to do. He lives in Portland, Indiana. I live in Little Swantucky, Ohio. So we got a couple hour distance between us, but maybe we can reduce that gap and do something. So we're gonna probably go ahead and quiet down here and let the water boil, so to speak, and get this stuff browned and ready to go. Okay, the ground beef is now drained from its grease, and while we still got the rice cooking, I'm going to start adding some other things to this. So first we're going to start out with about a cup and a half of onion, which is actually about a medium size onion. I'm going to stir that in there. I want that to saute a little bit. Rice has got about 5 or 6 minutes to go. It's pretty good on 20 minutes on the timer for the rice. But like I said, it's going to vary from stove to stove. So to know when your rice is done, you're actually going to have all of the liquid cooked out of it. And we are almost there with this. I've got it set on 6 minutes, but I have a feeling I may be shutting it off shortly. And it's not going to hurt it if it's not completely cooked, because it's going to finish cooking in this dish. So we're getting our onions sauteed. I want to get them clarified, get them clear looking, get them broken apart. And really, I mean, we're almost there right now with the onion, because this is going to cook a little bit longer on the stove after we get all of the ingredients in it, including the rice. So let's move on to the next step. So our next step is to add my seasonings. And I have, excuse my arm, I have a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I have a teaspoon of cumin and coriander blend. I have a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half teaspoon of garlic salt. And I'm going to sprinkle that in there right now. I'm going to stir that in. Trying to keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I have to be my ambidextrous self and move it over. And my brothers and I, when we were growing up, we were brats. Tim will tell you, oh no, Jimmy can't tell you, but Jim and Tim would tell you, oh no, we're not brats. We were brats. If one of us got in trouble, we all three got in trouble, because we would never tattle on each other, and that's just the way it was. So it was early bedtime and some spankings for all three of us on times, even when it wasn't our fault, which was one time when Chuck Caswell came down and he decided to do some writing on the bottom of some of my mom's furniture. We didn't even tell on him. We took the brunt of the punishment, and Chuck got off scot-free. He's a great family friend. He used to come to the house in his diapers. That's how long he's been a family friend. So I'm going to turn this heat down just a tad because I don't want it cooking too fast. And the onions are pretty much ready for the next step. So to this I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. All the recipes I'm seeing out online, we're calling for tomato sauce, and we never did that growing up. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of tomato paste and get that mixed in. And my timer's going off for my rice, so I think my rice is done. I'm going to check it here really quick. See if we got it to the right consistency. I'm pretty sure we do. Oh yeah, all the liquid's cooked out of it. It's fluffy. It is going to be really good. I don't know if you can see that. That's perfect right there. So I'm going to remove that from the heat. Put it on the back burner, shut the heat off over here, because that'll be one of our next steps also. So in addition to that tomato paste, I'm going to add about 2 cups of chopped bell peppers. I have red and green. These came out of our garden this year, and they were really, really tasty. They're frozen, but they will thaw out as we're cooking. So I'm going to add those. Got those in. And then next we're going to add, I've got a pint of diced tomatoes these are also from our garden, so I got a pint of diced tomatoes that have been drained. I'm going to add those. And get those going. Perfect. Then I'm going to add 2 cups of tomato juice. I'm going to add 2 cups of tomato juice, and that's because of the tomato paste. So that's in there. A bit in there. Get this mixed up really good. And I have one more ingredient that I almost missed. I have about 1/4 teaspoon of our special pepper blend. You can use chili powder, but like I've said in my other recipes, we're not big fans of chili powder, so we're using Mike's special blend. That might have been a little bit too much because his pepper this year was very, very spicy. Now that we've got all of that going, we're going to let that simmer for a little bit, and then after we're done with that, we will add the cooked rice. So we'll see you in a few minutes. We've been about 30 minutes on a medium heat because I wanted to get the peppers cooked. Even though they were frozen, they still had a little bit of a crunch to them. So I gave them about 30 minutes on a medium heat, and they are ready to go. But I did realize that it needs a little more salt, so I'm going to add some of my salt, pepper, garlic blend, a couple pinches, and then we're going to go ahead and add our rice. The rice is done, it's ready to go, it's time to get it in there. So we are going to do that right now. It's a cup of rice, which once it's cooked turns into about 2 cups of rice. So when you're making this recipe, it's 2 cups of cooked rice. We'll get that mixed in there. And I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer just because I want to make sure that the rice picks up all of those really good flavors of the tomatoes and the peppers and the spices and the herbs. So we're going to get this all mixed in, and it will probably be ready in about 5 or 10 minutes. It'll be time to plate it up, give you a picture, and call it a night. This is actually a very quick recipe. It just very delicious. So we got the rice in there. We'll let her cook for about, like I said, about 20 minutes, and I will show you a picture when it's done. I thank you all for coming to join me today, and I hope you all have a blessed evening, and we will see you the next time. Good night.